Go ahead, Kristen.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. My name is Kristen. I'm a member of the Center for Spiritual Living, and I'll be your platform assistant for today. And our theme for this year is Living Everyday Wonder. Our month focus is our emotions. And the talk of our title today is If You're Happy and You Know It, given by our spiritual practitioner, Tamara. We're so glad that you joined us today. Please feel to add in the chat any comments or prayer requests if you're joining us on the Zoom, or celebrations that you'd like to have included later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. And we invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we begin our service.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. All right, folks. Hello, I'm Tamara, and our theme, like you heard, for today is happiness. So I have a special meditation for us that focuses on happiness. So right now, just close your eyes and inhale deeply. Relax your mind and your body and begin to just focus on your breath. Relax your shoulders and let go of any tension that you have anywhere in your body. Focus just on your breath as you inhale and exhale fully. On your in-breath, allow yourself to just be filled with peace. You're calm. Your out-breath, release any tension. Just allow yourself to feel centered, balanced as you become present in this moment. Now we're ready to take a journey in your mind. I want you to picture a very peaceful place in nature. It could be a place that's real, a place that you've been to before, or perhaps it's a place that you create just for this meditation. It might be a peaceful meadow. Maybe perhaps you're standing under a beautiful canopy of trees like you see on our screen. Perhaps you're standing on a beach and watching the waves gently roll onto the shore. Wherever you go, whatever you picture, just take a moment and let your mind's eye take in all that surrounds you. You're in your You're filled with peace, love, abundance, and gratitude. Now, out of the corner of your eye, you notice something. There's a blanket spread on the ground. This blanket looks familiar. You've seen it before. It's a pattern that makes you recall a pleasant memory. You walk over to it and you take a closer look. There's a picnic basket and there's a collection of items. And you are delightfully surprised to discover that this blanket holds a collection of some of your favorite things, items that have brought you happiness in your current life experience. Now look for something on the blanket that makes you feel happy whenever you see it. What is it? Perhaps it's a favorite childhood toy. Maybe it's a photo of someone that you love, souvenir from a vacation, a lucky charm, a special gift that you once received, something that brought you so much happiness. And you're in your mind's eye, just bend down and pick it up, hold it in your hands. Take it and hold it close to your heart and just bless it. Bless it for all the happiness that it brings you. Now take that item and return it to its spot on the blanket. And something new catches your eye. Among the collections of things is an item that makes you feel happy whenever you touch it. What is it? Is it a lock of your child's hair? An old love letter from days gone by? Maybe it's a new love letter. Maybe it's a handkerchief that your grandfather used to carry. A favorite stuffed animal. Perhaps it's something from nature, a delicate flower. Something that just feels good and makes you happy whenever you touch it. Again, pick it up. Take it in your hands. Just feel it in your hands. Feels so good. Puts a smile on your face. Take it and hold it next to your heart. And bless it. Bless it for all the happiness that it brings you. And then return that item to the blanket. Now, let's take a closer look at that picnic basket. It's open and you can look inside and you see all of your favorite foods. Calories and dietary restrictions do not belong here in your happy place. You can eat whatever you desire, whatever you find in that picnic basket. Everything is for you, and it's all your favorites. You survey the items. Difficult to know where to begin, but one item stands out for you. You reach for it and you take it into your hand. You take in every detail. You smell it. You just feel the happiness that travels from your nose to your brain. This feeling that that favorite food just invokes, travels all through your body as you take a bite. It's so good. Now you can decide, do you finish this all up? Or do you try another food from the picnic basket? It's all up to you. You can spend a few moments in this place, your happy place, enjoying and experiencing all the items on this blanket. Soak in the beauty, the peacefulness, and the happiness that this place brings you. This is your place. These are the things that just fill you with happiness. And slowly, 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 you begin to realize the time has gone by and it's time to leave this place. But you know that you can return at any time. It's so familiar to you. It's always here waiting for you to visit whenever you need to feel the joy and the peace and the happiness that it provides. Let's gently leave this place with one last look over your shoulder. And return to greet your friends who are waiting here for you. Slowly wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, return to the here and now. And just know that happiness doesn't just stay in that place in your mind. It's right here, right now, as we listen to Soul Pajamas.
Oh, that was beautiful, Tamara. Thank you. We're getting a little philosophical here. We were thinking, what is underneath happiness? In fact, what is underneath everything? Happiness, peace, connectedness? This is a beautiful, beautiful Jason Mraz song that answers that question. The question is why? Why are we here? To say our hellos and goodbyes, then disappear. This beautiful life, what is it for? To learn how to master peace or master war. There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. mistakes. No, we're not perfect yet. Maybe God made us all from accident. And the question that sits on everyone's lips is, why should we pick ourselves up and start over again? There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. The question I'll ask at the end of my days is, what did I give? What will I take? There's only one answer that matters, even if our heart and dreams have been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you're after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love is still the answer.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Soul Pajamas. I got to tell you, Erin, I got goosebumps for that. What beautiful words. Oh, folks, I have to tell you, I'm so delighted to be your guest speaker today. And I was thrilled when I heard the topic for today, if you're happy and you know it. And I had a lot of fun researching happiness this week. And I don't know if you're like me, but when you turn on the news, sometimes it's a real struggle to find reasons to be happy. So let me just begin our talk today by doing a quick little summary about what we've been focusing on for this month. This month, we have been focusing on our emotions, and our emotions are amazing resources that can help us learn more about ourselves. Our emotions provide lots of great information, and they should not be ignored. In the first week of May, Charlene reminded us that there are so many emotions to choose from our emotional continuum. Just like choosing a variety of spices when we cook, we can carefully select our emotions to add spice to our experiences. Sometimes we feel a bit salty or peppery. Sometimes we are experiencing happiness and our life is filled with lemon zest. And sometimes we're a bit hot because there's too much cayenne pepper in our current life experience. But just like a good chef, we need a variety of emotional spices in our lives. Happiness, surprise, fear, sadness, disgust, and anger. Bear with me for a second. My daughter would yell at me, but I got to do a little pun here. We have all these wonderful emotional spices, and it reminds me of a Bible verse that I learned as a child. For everything, there is a season. Yeah, okay. So that's from Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. For everything, there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Last week, Charlene guided us through an emotion that we often try to avoid, fear. However, fear is a messenger. We learned that once we use mindfulness to embrace the 5 remembrances or fears and apply faith, the power of fear is diminished. We remember that we are in control. Today, we're going to look at another emotion, happiness. And like I said, sometimes it's a little bit harder to find happiness. I thought about a quote from Jean Racine, a playwright in France in the 17th century, who said that life is a comedy for those who think and a tragedy for those who feel. Bluebirds are often a symbol for happiness because of their beautiful melodious song, but also because they appear and then they just disappear in a moment's notice. Happiness stems from a state of mind and a positive attitude. We can choose to shift our attitude by focusing on something that brings us joy, by recalling a pleasant memory or experience like we did in our meditation, or by doing something that just makes us feel good. Focusing on our power within, choosing to walk a path, a purposeful path of happiness, learning how to go with the flow, and expressing gratitude for our many, many blessings are ways to make us feel happy. Let's begin as we explore happiness by defining what is happiness. Happiness is a state of contentment in your life, in your relationships, in your daily activities, and like we heard in our song, on your impact on others. Here's a quote from Matthieu Ricard. He's a former molecular biologist who became a Tibetan monk, and he has been called by some to be the happiest person in the world. Sounds like he might have something good to share with us. He said, by happiness, I mean a deep sense of flourishing that arises from an exceptionally healthy mind. It is not a mere pleasurable, fleeting moment or a swift emotion that comes or goes with your mood, but it is an optimal state of being. In other words, it's finding that bluebird and allowing it to build a nest right there in your heart. A group of neuroscientists have been studying Ricard and other Tibetan monks when they meditate. The scientists found that when the monks meditate, their brains produce a higher number of gamma waves that are at a higher level than has ever been recorded. Gamma waves are a type of electrical impulse in the brain, and they are linked to consciousness, learning, and memory. People with higher gamma waves tend to be happier and calmer. So do you want these higher gamma waves? Then make meditation part of your daily practice. The scientists found that excessive activity in parts of Ricard's brain associated with happiness gave him a diminished propensity toward negative thoughts. But Ricard says that happiness is a skill that he practices every day, that it's not an innate quality that he inherited at birth. A lot of other people have learned that happiness is not based on circumstance, but has more to do with personal choice. Is that true? How much of our happiness is actually in our hands? Well, a group of scientists decided to find out. They did a large-scale study on 2,000 twins. And I have to tell you, when I heard of this study, the first thing I thought of is the story about the twin boys who were put in 2 separate rooms. Do you know the story? One room was filled with gifts, and one room was filled with horse manure. After about 10 minutes, the researchers looked in the rooms. The boy in the room with the gifts was grumbling and complaining, finding fault with each and every present. The researchers were shocked. They looked in the second room, and again, they were surprised. The boy was gleefully playing with the horse manure, laughing and smiling. They asked him why he was so happy, and he replied, well, with all this manure in here, there's got to be a pony somewhere. Guys, I have to tell you, every now and then, when I find myself surrounded by a lot of manure, I stop and I say, okay, where's the pony? There's got to be a pony around here somewhere. But back to that study on the 2000 twins. So the true researchers found that 50% of overall life satisfaction is due to genetics. Yeah, some people are just born happy due to their genetic lucky, I don't know, bingo card or lottery number. Some people are born happy. So about 50% of our happiness can come from our genes. But they also found that 10% can be attributed, just 10%, to external events, such as life events, life circumstances, and what's happening on our news feeds. So 60% of our happiness comes from genetics and external events that are out of our control. But that other 40%, that comes from individual activities. 40% of our happiness is in our own hands and can be determined by our effort, by practicing happiness, like Ricard stated. And that provides a wonderful opportunity for us. We can make an impact. We can add and increase happiness in our lives on a daily basis. So if happiness is something that we can cultivate, how can we do it? Again, just follow Ricard's lead. Go within, quiet your mind, meditate. Happiness is an inside job. Start by keeping a gratitude journal and count your blessings each day. Practice random acts of kindness, knowing that the law of circulation will bring wonderful things into your life. As you give, so shall you receive. Do things that bring you joy. Whistle while you work, dance, sing, create, laugh, play, even though you're an adult. Just play, like we talked about in March. Live life fully and deliberately. Don't look for happiness to magically arrive at your doorstep, delivered by your Amazon driver. Do things that make you feel happy from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Remember this song, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And we can change that a little bit. Let there be happiness on earth and let it begin with me. And happiness is contagious. Don't believe me? Watch a few of those puppy videos or just play with a well-rested child or toddler. Blow bubbles, hopscotch, do something that just makes you happy. And all of a sudden, your mood is elevated. 40%, it's in your control. So here are my 2 takeaways for today. I found this on a TED Talk and I thought, oh, I've got to include this in our service today. So I want you to remember this acronym, SPIRE, S-P-I-R-E. How can you use that to control that 40% of happiness that's in your control? SPIRE, spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional. Got it? SPIRE. Or a great way to remember it is aspire, a verb that means to direct one's hopes or ambitions toward achieving something that is desired. In other words, to rise higher. You want to make sure that these 5 areas of your life are addressed on a regular basis, and they will direct you to achieving your hopes and your ambitions as you rise higher, to be the best that you can be, to be your best, your highest self. And when you are being your very best self, isn't that when you look around and you say, hey, I'm really happy. This is a feeling of happiness. When you are aligned spiritually, you are happy. You know that you are living your best life. When you are feeling good physically free of aches and pains, when you feel full of vitality, when you're well rested, when you feel strong, invigorated, can't help but feeling happy. Intellectually, when you are at your happiest because you are feeling challenged, you have confidence that you can meet your challenges. Don't you feel great when you solve the Wordle in 4 letters or 4 tries or 3 tries, or oh my gosh, on those rare occasions when I've done it in 2, it just makes my day. Relationally, you are happy when you are surrounded by people who support you, your team, your tribe, your pack. You give love and you joyfully receive love. And finally, emotionally, you are at your happiness when you are in control of your emotions. You don't let them control you. You decide how and when to use the emotions that are in your emotional spice rack. These 5 areas are the 5 balls that we try to juggle. And when all 5 are good, we're feeling fantastic. Happiness is a result. Even if we can just focus on one, we can increase our happiness level for that part of our life. And here's my second takeaway, how you can focus on maybe one of those aspects of your life. So this is something that I found called the Personal Morale Inventory. It's also known as the quadruple bottom line. Wow, what a mouthful. The quadruple bottom line. So it's a happiness assessment. And this assessment was inspired came from 2 places and kind of got blended together. The first was a work in the world of finance called the quadruple bottom line, which encouraged businesses to report their success on a more well-rounded fashion. Instead of measuring their success by how many widgets their employers produced every day, they were encouraged to gauge their company's success by employee morale and turnover. Were their employees happy? Wow, don't you want to live in that world where we're not just little people on an assembly line? How many widgets can you produce each hour? But your employers, when you're focused on, are you really happy at work? Do you feel a sense of pride and purpose in your work? This is what they set out to discover. The second source is based on an exercise that elite military members do in their training of self-assessment of themselves and their teammates before going into battle, a personal morale inventory. So you're going to be asked to look at 4 aspects of your life. First one, productivity and profit. The next one is people. The third, you're going to love this, Aaron, is the planet. And the 4th is your purpose. This assessment will have you focus on those things and what you can do to achieve happiness versus the things that are beyond your control. So what do you think? Do you want to give it a try? So we're going to do this self-assessment in these 4 areas, and we're going to use this method. Give yourself a -1 for that category as I describe it. If you're feeling like, I could be doing better, I'm struggling a little bit in this area. Give yourself a 0, neutral. It's okay. It's not awful, but it's not awesome. And give yourself a +1 if you think, hey, okay, I'm doing pretty well in this area. Are you ready? First one is productivity and profit. If you have a good job, if you have a good salary, if you can pay your bills on time, if you have a roof over your head, give yourself a 1. But here's where this happiness assessment is very unique. You can only score a +1, a 0, or a -1. You can't score any higher than a 1. If you own your own company or you're a millionaire, you can only score 1. If you're like me and you have a good job, you have steady income, you can pay your bills, you have a roof over your head, you too score a 1. So Bill Gates gets a 1. Jeff Bezos gets a 1. I get a 1. How about you? How would you rate productivity, and profit in your life. And remember, there's no two. Next category, people. Now, I wasn't sure at first why this category was called people as I read about it, because for our exercise today, it's all about you. I guess it's called people because remember, this started in businesses and they were looking at their employees, so the collective people, and in military training exercises. So they were focused on their team. But like I said today, we're just going to focus on you. It's all about you and your happiness. So how do you rate yourself using that SPIRE model that I just talked about? How is your spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional wellness? Yep, that's a lot to pack into one category, isn't it? But you have to start with yourself. Remember what they always tell you on an airplane. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can help others. If you are struggling with your physical health, you're not doing very well and you can't help others. You're not very productive and you're definitely not feeling very happy. You have to face it, you're human, and you have to take care of yourself. So how are you doing? How are you doing spiritually, physically, intellectually, relationally, and emotionally? And remember, all that we're going to pack into just one number. What's your score? Would you give yourself a -1? Not doing very well, struggling a bit. Maybe you have some challenges. Maybe you give yourself a 0 here. Some areas, I'm okay. Some I'm struggling a bit. And maybe you're feeling pretty good. Give yourself that +1. You ready to move on? Here's our third category, the planet. Do you honestly reduce, reuse, and recycle? Do you make a pretty good effort to do those things? Maybe not 100% of the time, but you really give it a good go. Do you carpool? Do you make efforts to reduce your carbon footprint? Do you use your resources wisely and carefully, or do you squander them? Are you a tender, a person who tends our planet, honoring plants and animals, or are you a taker, one who takes from the planet more than you give? Again, what's your score? Only a -1, a 0, or a +1? Assess yourself on that area. And then our last one is purpose. This is about the impact that you want to have and the legacy you want to leave behind. How will you be remembered? What did you contribute to our mission at CSL, making the world a place that works for everyone? It's the why you do what you do, just like we heard in that song. Thank you so much, Soul Pajamas. It isn't about being a superhero. It isn't about wearing a red cape and saving lives. It's about making at least one person's life a bit better while you're here. It reminds me of one of my favorite poems by Emily Dickinson. It's a short one. Here it goes. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life, the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin into his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Are you living in vain, or are you making an effort to help others in some capacity? Do you inspire others? Do you uplift others? The second biggest regret of people who are about to transition, who are on their deathbed, is I spent too many hours in the office. Your purpose isn't what you do, it's who you impact. Are you making someone's life better? And there's so many ways you can do this. So what's your score? Did you give yourself a -1, a 0, or maybe a +1? And again, remember there's no 2. The Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. only got a 1 in this category. So what's your score? Now, here's the very best part, the part where you get to take control of your happiness. Think about those 4 areas: productivity and profit, people, and you, that's spire model, the planet, and purpose. Where did you give yourself a -1 or a 0? You have a choice. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can commit to just try to focus and improve in that one area. Whatever you commit to, just give it your very best effort. Remember, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time to plant a tree is right now. So make an effort and give it a few months and then reassess. You can make a conscious effort to create a 1 in any of those areas that you choose. And another thing that's interesting about this assessment is that +1 in one category doesn't make up for a -1 in another. If someone is very wealthy and highly productive, but doesn't take care of our planet, maybe he's killing the planet in the process, that doesn't make up for it. There's no one final score. With this assessment, you simply assess yourself in each area, and you don't pin all your happiness into any one of those areas. Happiness is not productivity, having a good job and having a great stock portfolio. Happiness is not solely based on meditating or being thin or being in love. Happiness is not owning an electric car. Happiness is not winning the Nobel Peace Prize because you're such a wonderful person who impacts many people. You are in control of your own happiness. At least a good chunk of it, 40% of it. Your happiness, your future is not predetermined. Your future is not waiting for you. You create it in each and every moment. Remember our definition. Happiness is a state of contentment in your life, in your relationships, in your daily activities, and in your impact on others. As Buddha said, what you think, you become. How happy we are in the future is determined by our choices that we make each and every day across all the facets in our life, not just what we do from 9 to 5. You can control 40% of your happiness, or you can wait for it to arrive at your doorstep. But life is so much better when you remember that you are the key to your own happiness. And here's our affirmation for this week. I am happy to be alive, living a joyful life. I create my own happiness. And now let's go into prayer. And I'm going to check the chat one last time to see if we have any extra prayer requests. All right, here we go. Thank you for those who sent in some prayer requests. Take that deep breath again. I always love to begin with that. There's one divine source, one universal life, one divine, perfect energy that tells the flowers when to bloom. It guides the animals and the birds as they nurture their young in springtime. And it moves the clouds that sweep across the sky. And it fills the night with stars. It creates naturally, effortlessly, joyfully, happily, bringing divine goodness into each and every moment. It creates with grace and love, ensuring that all things are working toward the best and highest good. And since This universal life, this divine energy is in all life. It is in me. I affirm my own oneness with this divine energy. Its love and its grace created me. It created you. It flows effortlessly and joyfully. Because God is love, because this divine energy is love, then I too am love, and you too are love. Because its divine energy knows only peace and goodness and wholeness, then I am filled with peace and goodness and wholeness. And so are you. It made all things. It made each and every one of us. I know this is the truth for myself, and I know this is the truth for you. I know this is the divine truth for everyone. And so I speak my word for a sense of ease and peace in every moment, in every situation. I free my mind from any worries and cares, knowing that I am always blessed and loved. I am safe. I am protected. I am divinely guided. And I rest assured knowing that everyone and everything in my life is exactly as it is meant to be. My mind, my body, my emotions, my relationships, my spirit is all a reflection of my well-being. Divine joy and happiness flood my life. Anything which no longer serves a purpose in my life, I delete it. It is removed. I do not allow any false beliefs to limit me in any way. I accept only complete divine happiness, divine peace, and divine love, because I know I am a reflection of God. I speak my word for myself, for all those who hear my voice, for all those who are listening. I also speak my word for Natalie's family, for her Auntie Maud, her Uncle Doug, who are currently in the hospital, for John as he is getting stronger and recovering from COVID, for all the people right now in Buffalo who are filled with worry, confusion, fear, doubt. I speak my word for them, knowing that God is present in their lives, that the divine energy is working to restore everything to where it needs to be, perfect, whole, complete. Anything that we are experiencing that is not goodness, we know is a temporary condition. It will pass. Just like a song, it's here for us to hear, but when it ends, there's a new song that begins. We control the dial, we can change the station, we can find the song that is what we choose to hear. We can focus on that because those radio waves are all around us. We just have to turn our dial to find the station that will remind us of who we are and how we are divinely made, perfect and whole and complete, loved and blessed in every moment. I'm so grateful for the knowledge, for the wisdom, for the love, and for the blessings that I continuously receive. I'm grateful for that at any moment when I need a reminder, I can meditate, I can go within, I can listen to the divine message that always speaks the truth, telling me that I am blessed, I am loved, and that this is the divine truth for me, and this is the divine truth for everyone. And so I release my word into the law, knowing that as I speak, it is already done. I let go, I let God, and so it is. Now let's go back for some more music from Soul Pajamas.
This is a, whoops. All right. This is a feel-good song. Life has been so good to me. Life has been so good to me. Life has been so good to me. So good, so good, so good. Life has been so good to me. Life has been so good to me. Life has been so good to me. So good, so good, so good. Something pure about the sunlight. Feel the healing in the rain. Find the sacred in the wild wind. Out across the plain. Life has been so good to me. Yes, she has. Life has been so good to me. Don't you know? Life has been so good to me. So good, so good, so good. Life has been so good to me. Ooh, life has been so good to me. Ooh, life has been so good to me. So good, so good, so good. There's something pure about the sunlight. Feel the healing in the rain. Find the sacred in the wild wind. Out across the plain. God has been to me. So good. God so good to me. Life has been so very good to me. So very, so good. Life has been so great. Life so good, so good to me. So good, so good to me. You know that life has been so very good, so very, very good. Life has been so good, so good to me.
Yes, if life has been good for you, which is good for me, it's now the time to bless the donations that are shared today. And at CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donation helps our center, our CSL organization home, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Please look at your screen. There are many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click the donate button. We thank you for your support. No matter how you're giving, take that gift, physically or mentally, and place it over your heart. Join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. So it is. And then we go to, oh, that was it. Announcements. So we have a dream study, weekly offering in Zoom. Tuesdays at 9 a.m. You may meet with Charlene, our spiritual practitioner, and you also can meet midweek, Wednesdays in May. And on this Wednesday, we're going to do a healing meditation, a healing session led by me. Hope to see you there. And as we end our, oh yeah, okay, so here's more Wednesdays in May, guided healing meditation. On May 25th, create new mission and vision statements as a community. You can join us at 7 p.m. on the Zoom link on cslleesburg.org. For the closing information, we place our hands over our heart and say, I am love. Now point at someone near you or guests on our screen and say, you are love. And now put your hands up in the air for some love sprinkles and say, it's all love. And if you can stay for a few more minutes, please feel free to join us as we share our pearls, those little nuggets of our service that spoke to your heart and your mind. And if you're a visitor, please stay on and introduce yourself. We'd love the opportunity to officially greet and welcome you to CSL. If you have to leave us, we know that you will have a day filled with love, joy, blessings, and happiness. Thank you for joining us today.